Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, the moon. Ever since Artemis 2 rebooted the moon just a few weeks ago, it cannot stay out of the headlines. And today's video is just another example of how the moon is just hopping with activity these days. For an entirely unpopulated piece of rock, it is full moon Saturday night, a lot there. And this summer will be no exception because in early August, the moon will be on the receiving end of a spent rocket stage, which is a very nice way of saying that part of a rocket is going to crash into the moon. So, questions. Whose rocket? Did we know this was going to happen? Do we want this to happen? And these are all reasonable asks. So sit back, get cozy, and let's go over this whole saga of why a rocket will be crashing into the moon this summer. So just over a year ago, in January 2025, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched two commercial lunar landers, Firefly Aerospace Blue Ghost and iSpace's Resilience from Japan, and both were destination moon. And about a year ago, I did a whole video on Firefly's Blue Ghost Mission 1, named Ghost Riders in the Sky, and its successful lunar landing. Japan's lunar lander Resilience was also on the Falcon 9 rocket, but its landing did not go as well, but I will get back to that in a minute. But the Falcon 9 delivered both landers into space and did its job. But now, a year later, Falcon 9's leftover upper stage, labeled 2025-010D, is headed for a run-in with the moon. Bill Gray of Project Pluto, a service that provides astronomical software, said, "We've been tracking it since launch. The orbit has changed a bit over the last year or so and is now headed for a lunar impact." Bill Gray is also the creator of Guide, an astronomy and telescope tracking application used worldwide by professional and amateur astronomers. And they like to keep track of asteroids, comets, and other near-Earth objects. Now you may be asking, was this part of the plan? Was part of the upper stage always designed to crash into the moon? Well, not exactly. Falcon 9's 45-foot or nearly 14 meters tall upper stage was meant to return to Earth. Unfortunately, it was instead trapped in a highly elliptical orbit around our planet. And just to really bring home how big the upper stage is, here it is sideways in front of a large group of people. This guy is ginormous. Using his Project Pluto software, Bill Gray analyzed the upper stage's orbit to predict its trajectory. And according to the researcher, the Falcon 9 upper stage will crash on the lunar surface at 2:44 a.m. Eastern Time on August 5th, 2026. And it won't be a soft landing. The rocket will smash into the moon at a hypersonic speed of 5,400 miles per hour, or about 8,700 kilometers per hour. That's 7 times. Was that backwards for you guys? That might have been backwards for you guys. 7 times the speed of sound, or Mach 7. According to Gray, astronomers have made over 1,000 observations of the Falcon 9's upper stage as it soared around Earth. And these helped chart the rocket's lopsided, roughly 26-day orbit. At its closest point to Earth, the upper stage comes within 137,000 miles, or 220,000 kilometers, of Earth. At its farthest point, it's roughly 310,000 miles, or about 510,000 kilometers, away in cislunar space. Project Pluto has published a page of data about the Falcon 9 upper stage, which I will share in the description. And Gray says that while he is confident in his prediction, it is not 100%. He said the motion of space junk is mostly quite predictable, but there are some other factors. He said the problem is that space junk in general, and 2025-010D in particular, is also pushed around by sunlight or solar radiation pressure. And this is an extremely gentle force, but over months it can really build up. And it's not entirely predictable. As an object tumbles, it may catch more or less sunlight and may reflect some of it sideways. So sunlight is mostly pushing the object away from the sun, but there's a slight bit of pushing in other directions as well. And speaking of predictability, let's get back to Japan's lunar lander Resilience for a moment. So Blue Ghost landed on the moon on March 2nd, 2025. Resilience took a much more circuitous route to save on fuel and attempted to land on June 5th, 2025. But unfortunately, contact was lost just 90 seconds, just kills you, 90 seconds before landing, and it crashed. Most likely due to a laser rangefinder malfunction. And this was a huge disappointment for Japan, as they were attempting to make the country's first private moon landing, so it was super crushing to the iSpace builders. They had tried with another lunar lander back in 2023, but it also crashed due to a fuel shortage caused by a faulty sensor data that misjudged the altitude. Space, man, it is not always predictable. So is this 45-foot upper stage crashing into the moon anything to worry about? Like, that's completely fine for us here on Earth, right? Well, according to Bill Gray, it is nothing to worry about, and it's hardly the first time that our space junk has hit the moon. A Chinese rocket booster impacted the moon in 2022, and back in the early 70s, the upper stages for Apollos 13 to 17 all hit the moon quite deliberately. The resulting moonquakes were useful for calibrating seismometers that had been left by preceding Apollo missions. In 2009, NASA deliberately crashed an upper stage into the moon to see if it would kick up water ice to be observed by another spacecraft. And of course, small asteroids hit the moon frequently. I mean, that's why it's got all those craters in the first place. Bill Gray said, if this object had hit the Earth, as most upper stages do, it would have burned up in the upper atmosphere on re-entering and simply added more fine dust up there. Since this object is instead hitting the moon, there will be a sudden impact, a flash of light, and then some lunar rock blasted out of a crater at high speed with no air resistance to slow it down. Some of that shrapnel could conceivably go flying around and hit one of the Chinese lunar landers. It's very long odds against it. None of them are close to this spot. I don't think it raises the usual risk level of being on the moon noticeably. He also points out that this would be a big problem if we had a lunar base, but for now, it doesn't really seem to be anything to worry about. So would it be possible to view this impact? I mean, if we're gonna have a 45-foot tall upper stage smash into the moon at Mach 7, I mean, we all want to see that, right? Well, Bill Gray told Space.com that he did think initially it would be visible, as the impact is going to happen about a week after full moon. But now he says the impact point is currently expected to be just barely on the near side of the moon, the one we can see from Earth. It's possible that by August, further data will show that the actual impact point is shifted a little towards the far side, the one only spacecraft and astronauts get to see. I don't expect it to shift by that much, but space junk can do some odd things over a few months, and I can't completely rule it out yet. So for now, the odds of us seeing this impact, I think, kind of stand at a probably not. However, this high velocity crash will definitely leave a new crater. Gray noted that the odds are good that the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter will also be able to image this new crater. Space.com also pointed out that SpaceX's mission control probably didn't have on its bingo card that the Falcon 9 upper stage would reach the moon before Starship, which I thought was pretty funny. Zing! So what do you guys think? I mean, does this whole thing just make you more nervous about our ongoing space junk problem? Like, yeah, it's fine now, but what's the plan when we do have a base up there? Like, what would be the move in that situation? Do we use DART? Do we have any other options? Definitely something to think about. So yeah, mark your calendars, kids. August 5th-ish. Big boom on the moon that we probably won't see in real time. But we will get a brand new crater to see and name. I'm looking for silver linings here. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, I will see you in the next video.